Hello, we've received a question from you via email, in which you were asking a little bit about the difference between of or for, or perhaps to as well here. So apparently you had found this sentence somewhere, and you had a bit of a question about to, the secret to those violins. Now, this sentence is taken out of context. So it's a little hard to understand exactly what the situation is. So I'm going to just modify it a little bit to make it kind of easier for me to follow the topic. So other people think that, so I'd probably use that in there as well. The secret to something, like, so we can't just say the secret is the wood. It's got to be like the secret to the success, or the secret to the beautiful sound of those violins. Okay, we need to know, like, what is the secret related to? Otherwise, it's a little bit vague. Okay. So if I add in this part, the success of those violins. So here it's relating to an idiom, right? The key to success. We can also say the path to success. So the secret to the success would be good there. I could also say other people think that the recipe for the success of those violins is the wood. Okay, that would also be correct. So it depends which of these idioms we're using there. Okay, so in this case, secret to is kind of a fixed phrase in that case. We could use it in other cases as well. Like the secret to making a fluffy cake is whisking ingredients for a long time. Or the secret to doing very well on a language exam is to study for a short time but every day. Okay, so those are some other examples with using secret to. If you're interested in the difference between for, of, and to, it's impractical for me to explain every single example in one brief video. But if you want to do further investigation, these web links should lead you to a very, very useful online resource, and it can tell you a great many different ways in which these expressions are used. As well as that, I've also included a few common idioms, like in order to, or the best way to, for example, for instance, and then, of course, indicative of, or an example of. Okay, so that's just one that might be confusing. For example would be used when we introduce the example. Here we'd be saying this more like in the middle of the sentence. So, for example, we need to whisk the cake thoroughly in order to achieve a fluffy texture. Okay, so then if I add this sentence later on, and I want to use an example of, like, so I could say something like, whisking the cake thoroughly is an example of how to achieve a fluffy texture. Don't worry too much about the exact example that I'm giving here. It's just to show you where an example of, or for example, should go in the sentence. This is at the beginning, and this is more towards the middle. So those are some idioms that you may want to look at using for, to, and of. These definitions can provide you with a great many more examples as well. If I bring up one of those, for example, a love of horses, a basket of groceries. Okay, it can also be something like a day of rest. So looking at those may really help if you want to find a very extensive list of examples. However, in this particular sentence, the secret to of it would be the secret to, as that is kind of the idiom that's being used here. If we weren't using a fixed idiom, if we were simply using an adjective secret, the secret of their success would be fine. Alright, the secret to their success would be fine. and the secret of their success would also be okay. It's, in this case, though, just because it's an idiom, I would recommend going with to. Okay, so I hope that's clarified a little about this particular example. And if you'd like to do further research on this topic, here are some resources you can also use. Okay, thanks very much.